Hello, sweet peas, and welcome to my garden. Welcome to my garden. This is Tiffany's garden. My name is Miss Tyffanie Morgan, drag queen extraordinaire here in Kingston, Ontario, Canada, the home of limestone and the home to me, Miss Tyffanie Morgan. And as many of you know, I do like to wear the blue, but I'm here today to give you some tips for the Grow With Me challenge as we're doing. So it's the beginning of May, and we're still a few weeks away before we can safely plant things out into the garden, which tends to be like the Victoria Day weekend, which is like the May 25th sort of time. So we're still a few weeks away, so we need to start thinking about do we need to transplant our plants into pot them up, as we call them, put them into bigger pots, and also two, do we need to start hardening them off? So hardening off means just getting them ready to be outside, and now would be a good time to start to. You need to do that at least, let's say, a week before you decide to plant your little seedlings out into the garden, and so that means taking them outside during the day. In a shaded area, and hopefully it's not so windy, so that they can get used to the breezes and also the more intense light from the sun. Even in the shade, you're getting light from all over the place, and then you can slowly start moving them to more sunny spots, and then maybe even right on the garden patch where you're going to be planting them, or in the greenhouse. You can move them into the greenhouse and just get them acclimatized, ready for that. And then eventually you can then plant them out, or leave them out overnight after a week or so. But for my case, I'm going to pot mine up. And you know when you need to pot them up when you look at the seedlings. So let's take a look here. So here's my little tray of my seedlings. So we got some tomatoes and we got some cucumbers here. And this variety of tomato is called church tomato. The other ones haven't started growing yet there. But you know when it's time to plant them up when you have roots coming out the bottom. So I'm going to pot these up into slightly larger pots. So I reuse all the pots that I get from the garden centers. Just wash them up, get them ready, and we'll put these into some soil. All right, sweet peas, join me, and let's go through this. All right, sweet peas. As soon as we start doing this, the heavens decide to to come down. So I have these pots ready to take my little seedlings here. Now I love this little tray that I got from the garden center. So let's take a look at this tomato again. So again, the roots are coming out. Now with the tomatoes and even with the cucumbers, we can plant them deeper. And actually, they do suggest to do that for the tomatoes because it gives them, they grow the roots out the sides once it's planted, and it gives them more stability. So they may not really go in that much, but we can do that when we plant them out into the garden bed. So first and foremost, we get our handy dandy soil, and trying not to get the necklace into the into the soil. So we got that out, and now we're going to tip this over. Now make sure to not damage the stem. So that's why I'm holding it on all four sides here. We're going to tap. Is it really in there? Oh, there we go. Now if we break some roots, that's okay. That's okay. Get that in there. And then we're going to top it up with some more soil. Oh, I can smell the tomato right now once you brush up against it. There we go. And we're just going to lightly firm that in, not too much. I can just tap it, and it gets the soil nice and level too. And then we'll move on to the next one, and we'll water that in when we do that. And that's the same with the cucumber as well. So as you can see, we have some possible root development there. So we're going to try to bury that a little deeper. And we can do that again when we transplant it to the greenhouse, because these are probably going to go into Tyffanie's greenhouse. But by potting them up, this will give me an opportunity to let these grow a bit more before I get them into the greenhouse, because I'm a little worried about my timing. I do say I want to plant these out for the Victoria Day long weekend here in Canada, but as I say that, there's a few other things that will need priorities in the greenhouse. Oop, what is that? Toss it out. So, like for instance, the dahlias, they will get potted up and then put into the greenhouse to get them growing before we plant them out. So, and they'll need some room too. So we'll see about that. But yeah. And there we go. There we go, sweet pea. So we potted them. We're going to do the rest of them later. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me.